I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with Mr. Damon Dash, and Dame just had a busy day. Looked like you were at court today. How did that go?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, court is a due process, and I know exactly what I'm walking into. So it went relatively okay. What happened was, I had an issue with my daughters, my ex-wife Rachel Roy, and long story short, she had me come to her house to drop off my daughter, and she had me outside too long on the terrace. I mean, on the front porch, because she wanted me to email saying I wasn't going to take my daughter. And by the way, I haven't seen my daughters in about 3 weeks, just because she asked me to be with her and I said I wouldn't. So since then, it's been war. But there's also been some things with the business as well. But again, she left me when it didn't look like I was doing so well. And the woman that ride with me, I'm staying with, and that's that. And that's it. Even I love my kids, but I wouldn't be happy that way. So because of that, she hasn't been letting me see my kids. She's been taking her phone, all this other stuff. And when I got back from New York, because and also my grandfather died, and she wouldn't let me take them to my grandfather's funeral. So it's just like at that point, it's like I have to regulate things, And before that, other things were going on because she's a woman and a really good mother above and beyond her relationship with me. I let a lot of things slide. But at this point, I just can't do it anymore. And people might say, "Oh, you're talking your personal business." My personal business is everyone's business at this point. And when I went through this with my son, which I got custody of, the one that got cookies, Boogie, I've had him since he was 8. I went to court and got him, so I know exactly what when I'm right and when I'm wrong, and when my rights as a father are being violated. But it took time. So she's been doing this, and I'm like, I got to go handle this. So yeah, it's always in the newspaper. You got people like Wendy Williams or Charlemagne that are gonna talk about it based on how they want to. I'm not having that. And also I know there's a lot of good fathers that are being treated like this. This is normal. It's the second time I've been going through this. I went through this with Boogie, and now I'm going through this with my daughters, where if I don't go in the house, I can't see my daughter. You know what I mean? If I don't see it, and I don't think that's fair. So I'm not allowed to bring it to my house because I got a girlfriend. That's not fair. But here's the kicker. So this is what happened. I had my daughter. I came back. I had her for 2 days. She's sending the police, and I put it on Instagram, to my house saying I'm kidnapping my own daughter just because I'm taking care of her. She wouldn't give her my daughter. She wouldn't give her uniform or her iPad, because in school now it's iPad, so she could go to school. So there wasn't no reason for her to go to school. So for 2 days, for Monday and Tuesday, I spent time with her because I wanted to get back. You haven't seen her in 3 weeks. But in the meantime, she's not letting me see my little daughter, Tallulah, or have any communication with her for no reason. Or, no logical reason other than what I just told you. And, when I came home and I couldn't see her, I just had to take a stand. So I went to court. I went for custody just so we could work it out, and for my proper visitation. And then when I was telling to Ava, I'm gonna bring you home after we did all that, so you could go to school on Wednesday. Rachel starts inviting me to come into the house again to see Tallulah at 10 o'clock. And I'm like, I don't want to go in the house. I want to be able to bring Tallulah to my house. But because I haven't seen her in a month or 3 weeks, whatever it was, I'll take that 10 minutes in her living room. So we get, like I said, we get to the house. She's not letting him in. So I'm like, yo, I'm out of here. So I get Ava. I said, I'll just take you to school in the morning. She runs out, tries to open the door because Ava's in the thing, opens it. Ava runs back in the house. So I run in the house because I want to see my daughter. And there's a dude in the house. So you know what to do? So I'm like, I don't care about no dudes. I'm divorced. But I'm like, where's my daughter? So when I go to get my daughter, he jumps in front of me and my daughter. He stopping me from getting my daughter. So I physically threw him out. You know what I'm saying? But and when I was in there, I said, dog, you're gonna get involved between a man and his kids. And because I even said that and had to explain myself, it frustrated me. And I felt like I needed to defend my honor and I needed a fair one. So I threw him out, but I had my flip-flops on, and he didn't have no shoes on. So I'm like, yo, where's his shoes at? Got his shoes, threw those out, and was like, look, money, I need a fair one. When I come out, have your sneakers on, and I had on flip-flops. But I was like, I need a fair one. So I had my daughter, and again, I had to throw him out with my daughter in my hand, and he was like pushing her. So that's why I had to get him out of there. And plus, as a man, I'm not going to abuse any other man in front of my kids. You know what I'm saying? And that was me in a place where I lost my temper. Because there are places that you can go where that can happen. Like when you start messing with a man's kids, other instincts start to kick in, especially when it's not warranted. So anyway, I tell Tallulah, I'm like, look, go upstairs with your mother, who's yelling crazy. And I go outside, the police are already there. So obviously she called the police, because they was there like that. So she must have called the police when I'm on the terrace. So I'm like, why would you want to invite me in the house, right? Then not let me in, and then have a dude in the house, not letting me see my kid. It was some kind of funny setup. So at this point, I think it's the best thing is for us to go to court. You know what I mean? And deal with this, because this is bullshit. And the dude's name is Oscar Sales. So after this, right, this is what they do. So after they do all this, I go outside, the police come out. They question everybody. Of course, I'm not in the wrong. She invited me in the crib, and I didn't put my hands on it. He was in between me, and Rachel ripped my shirt. So they actually ended up asking me if I wanted to press charges. And I was like, nah, I'm not pressing charges. I need him on the street. And in front of the cops, I told him, yo, you better watch your back, because I was tight. So I'm not going to say I didn't say it. But long story short, he went and got an order of protection. So the man wants to get involved in another man's business and be tough, and then he goes and gets the order of protection with me. And his name is Oscar Sales. And what he said was, what's the fuck? This shit is crazy to me, man. Or people that pretend like this is not no man shit to me. What did it say? What he said, like, what was his statement? Like his statements were crazy. So the whole thing is, I don't understand why this whole situation happened. And I am curious to know why you would invite me to the house when you know I don't want to go way past Tallulah's time and have some dude in there that I've never seen with my children. Like, what was the intent? And then go try to get an order of protection about it. So this is what it says exactly. Damon Dash threatened my safety and well-being. He specifically told me that I need to watch my back and there was going to be trouble for me if he saw me again. And this is true. This is true. All I want, because he can't even write. All of these threats make it against me. What does it say? All this occurred while the LAPD officers were present. So I said it in front of the police, and he's still scared. And he was tough enough to be in the house and keep me from my kids. But this dude, Oscar, still goes and gets an order of protection. But I'm glad he did it, because that night I had a lot of things on my mind and I was tested. But I chose to just go to sleep, to the extent that I think it's the reason why I quit smoking, because I didn't even want to think about it. So I'm glad he got an order of protection, because now I have no way to get to him, and it's good. So I think he did the right thing. I said that before.
So what's the status of the order of protection? I mean, did they extend it? Did the judge review it? Or?
Well, what happened was I had went and tried to get an order of protection for my children, because I don't want my kids to go through that. So I was going, and the judge saw that, and they saw the order of protection that she already had filed. So we had to have a quick hearing. So initially, the hearing was supposed to be April 20th, which would have meant I wouldn't be able to see my kids until April 20th, just because of an allegation that's unfounded, and that's the due process. But I got an emergency hearing because I said things that were contradicting what she was saying. So what the judge did was said, look, you can see your kid. And what happened was, first we had to go through a mediation. So she didn't even show up, because she doesn't adhere to any court order anyway. But she didn't show up, and I had to have a mediation over the phone. So I spoke to the mediator, and she spoke over the phone. And I was just like, I just want to see my kids. I just want to raise them, And she was on she wouldn't agree to anything unless there was supervised visitation. I think that's traumatizing. So I wouldn't agree to that. So then we had to go to the judge, and first lunch, I had to wait an hour, and it was cool. But it could be frustrating, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And then the judge came back, and he decided, look, I'm going to just let you see the kid 3 days out the week until the hearing. From 4 to, a certain time. And I had to pick him up from the police station, which, I thought that's not the right thing. But, she's requesting this, and I don't know why. And, and I don't understand why a woman could ever say that a father is kidnapping his child just because he's visiting them, or taking them to their house up the block. But, I don't think most people have the tolerance or the time to go through what it takes to get to court and go through it all and fill all that shit out. But for my kids, I will. So at the end of the day, I'll be able to see my kids 3 days out the week for a couple of hours, until we get into the hearing April 20th, and from there, everything will come out. But it's not the worst thing in the world. I've been through it before.
Well, what's interesting, man, is I'll have to say that if you really want to make a man kill, take away his kids.
Hmm.
There's really nothing that just brings out that raw. In fact, when I think about my own life, the only time I ever thought about doing that kind of harm to another man was when it involved my children. It just brings something out of your spirit that you may not even know was there. And and I
Oh, I
think
know
that
it's there.
yeah. So when you describe again, again, I know this is your story, and of course there's other sides and all that, but just the idea that this guy would get in between you and your child, that's a very dangerous situation to put yourself into
Very.
in a relationship. I mean, I guess maybe he's trying to impress or show his strength as a man for his woman or whatever, but
Well,
you know,
what he claimed in the thing was that he's a family friend, because I never seen him before. A family friend and part-time security, and that he does security sometimes. So, like I said, I don't know why she would call me over there to come in that late if there's a dude there anyway. So what was it? Was she trying to jump me? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I didn't add? The text is from her where she's threatening me.
I know. Forgot about that. No, we forgot to print them out, but it's fine. We'll print it out next
Yeah, we
time.
get it for next time. But also, I forgot the night before she was texting me saying she was gonna get somebody to beat me up.
We have
wow.
it in the hearing.
And the thing is, I got all the texts, I got everything. So it's a due process. I'm not even concerned. I didn't even get a lawyer for this. And then she has this lawyer. What's that lawyer's name? Because then she has a lawyer, and the lawyer's in there just wasting time.
Samantha Spector.
Her name is Samantha Spector, and I'm gonna make her famous like I told her. I'm gonna be easy on her because she's a woman, but I don't like her playing with my kids for money. So I'm gonna let everyone know who she is, and I'm gonna try to put her out of business legally, if I can, just because I don't like that people get paid to separate kids from their parents. Like they don't even care. There's no. I was asking her like, do you even care if she's wrong or right? Like you just want to get paid? Like you'll do this to another kid? Like you gonna have my kid get picked up at a police station? Because I was telling the judge, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna have to get therapy for my kid behind that. It's not even. There's nothing going on for all that. You know what I mean? We're not. It's not that disruptive. It's just I'm not having it telling me I can only see my kid in her house. Because I got a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that. And then also when I go to her house, like I might take my jewelry, she takes my jewelry. So she took two of my chains and one of my luggage, my Bottega Veneta luggage. And I'm like, yo,
In the court order,
she said it in the court order. I took it to hold. Oh, so now the kicker is this. See, her and I own a company together, and she's like, her. Remember, I don't know if I told you before, but her lawyer in New York, this dude Donald Dickhead Suarez, pause. He was representing Rachel and Cindy. Those are both of my baby mothers. You know what I'm saying? And he knew what was going on. So every time a check would come in the company, he would tell Cindy, and then they had me going to court. You understand what I'm saying? But what Rachel did was she took the money and spent it. She spent $300,000 of my money and said that it was because of marital obligations. So of course I don't take her to court because she's my wife or ex-wife. But the other one, because because there's an order that all the child support comes out of Royal, which is the holding company where all the royalties come from Rachel Roy. You understand what I'm saying? But she's the manager of it, Rachel, so she controls it. So she's been taking that money and paying her bills, paying her legal fees. She made a deal where all the overhead, where all the royalties that were going into the company, they hired a bunch of people. It goes back into overhead. So now all the royalties, I had $1.5 million worth of royalties, and now none, because she signed them away for overhead without anyone's consent. And then I'm paying, like she's saying she's not getting her child support, so I'm paying for her stuff, like up to $50,000 worth of stuff, not through child support, but through the side, because I'm thinking it's going to get cleared up. But I come to find out she's the one that wasn't paying it. And then she committed 50% of the royalties to her legal fees and the rest to overhead. So now all that hustling I did for my kids, because I started the business for that, now they don't get no money. It got to come from me. And she's counting my money because I made money from a deal, but she doesn't know all my money goes into to business. So I don't have no money. My money goes into business. Stop. My money goes into business. You understand what I'm saying? So she's thinking, counting my money and trying all this stuff, getting salaries, putting debt on the company. So now there's no child support because, and it's court ordered that she paid it, but she's not My other son's mother knows she's doing this, right? I just gave my other son's mother $120,000 for a house outside of child support. And then this dickhead takes me to court for 23 grand. You understand what I'm saying? As if my intent is not to pay child support or to take care of my kids. But they're not counting all the stuff that I did outside of child support. Plus, he knows what Rachel did. So he takes me to court, knowing I'm going to pay whatever you're supposed to pay anyway. I mean, I don't care. I'm going to definitely pay it. Or it's going to come out the company. But he asked for legal fees behind that. So he's basically taking me to court. He knows what one client's doing, but he's using this information to go to court here, and he did it twice to me. So I'm suing this bitch ass, period. And the reason why was because whenever I'm in court, I can't see my kids. And the last time I was in court with this dude, Donnell, the only thing that there was an issue was his legal fee. We went to court for a year over his legal fee for nothing. And that's because Rachel spent the money, he knew about it, but then he went and told the judge I wasn't paying child support. So, I had to pay his legal fee for doing all that he had to do. So he doesn't even care about my sons, my relationship. And then look, in the lobby, I did get at him, and I was like getting at yo, what kind of guy are you, whatever. He's like, listen, Mr. Dash, I'm only here to get your money. That's what he told me in front of lawyers, and that's what he told me in front of COs. Then, I called him a name. He was like, that's your mother. He said, that's your mother. He said all this kind of stuff. So, it's cool. And then we almost got into it, but he's a lawyer. But the bottom line is, this is all driven for his own personal thing. These lawyers put all these innocent people in court just so they can make legal fees. And they do that shit on every level. I hate a bad lawyer. They're the worst people in the world, man, because they get paid regardless. Every time we go to court, the lawyer gets paid more. Every time. Because you got to, first when you get someone to action, a retainer is $25,000. Then you got to answer, that costs $10,000. Then they're going to make a motion to move it to dismiss, which gets denied every time. That costs $10,000, $15,000. Then you got to go through depositions where they bring 4 lawyers for $450 an hour to ask stupid questions like, what's your zip code? What's your address? What's your mother's maiden name? Real stupid shit, right? So that is $450. You know what I'm saying? Then by the time you get to the judge goes, listen, have you guys tried to sit down and work it out? No. They send you in another room to a mediator and you squash it. And usually a big corporation will have insurance, and the deductible will be about 300 racks. So they'll be like, look, we'll go to legal fees up to 300,000 because we got to pay that shit anyway. And then the insurance decides who settles the case. And that's usually how it goes if you sue corporate.
Wow. So, do you think that the way you structured Rachel Roy in terms of the power you gave her at the time,
I was a dumbass.
really?
We were getting
Explain that.
divorced. I made her the manager, and when the manager has all power. So if you make that person a manager, you can't do shit, even if you own it. They have to vote and all this you can't do nothing, man. They control the money, they do whatever they want. But then it gives the manager a lot of responsibility. So now I gotta sue her, but I didn't want to have to do that. But I'm gonna. I have to. The business isn't shit. Then these guys tops and downs. So one guy's name is Joe Wright, the other guy's name is Danny Abrovich. They tricked her into a fucked up deal, and they don't even give a fuck about my family. And these are the culture vultures I'm talking about that make money from my culture and don't care about the effect. I'm like, yo, I'm going to have to sue the mother of my children to make this right. Why won't y'all make it right? And they're like, well, we don't care. We're not the ones that did it. You guys signed a deal, whatever. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to sue you too. So I'm going to make Joe famous, and matter of fact, I'm going to tape it because I just told him I was going to make him famous. So I want him to know I'm making him famous. Rocky, can you tape this real quick?